These ducks don't know it yet, but they're fixing to become worker ducks. And guess where they're going? They're going into the Victory Garden. Today's episode is chock full of information about ducks and plants that they can and can't have, cold frames, raised beds, etc., etc. Well, hey y'all, it's another episode of Homestead Happenings on the Hillbilly Chicken Ranch. I'm Susan, your hostess, and today we are in episode 31, and I thought I would bring you out to the Victory Garden area because I've been out here in the evening cleaning out buckets, or these mineral buckets, to plant some herbs and stuff in. Now, most of these buckets are going to get moved to another area of our garden, but I wanted to get them started earlier. So we're going to talk about cold frame protection of early seed in the ground, especially in a raised bed. And we're also going to talk about protecting our seedlings from our chickens, because we have a few flighty chickens that like to come over here and look for bugs and worms. And we're going to talk about the ducks in the garden today and what they can have in their garden and what they can't. So we're going to get into this program. I hope that you enjoy this. It's going to be a lot of fun. So the first thing I want to tell you is we have another frost date coming up in about a week. And we may have another one after that in April also. I think the last one is April the 17th. But you want to plant leafy greens in your garden for your ducks, and the reason you want to do that is they like to nibble at the leafy greens, and it's very nutritious for them. It helps their immune system, and you want to give them something in the garden that they can actually nibble on. And they won't eat the whole plant, but they will nibble at it. And I've got a lot of ducks, so they might eat the whole plant, I don't know, but you can put a frame around it to keep them from eating everything and pulling up the roots. And I've got a hole in my glove. It's time to buy some new gloves. The first thing I'm going to plant today is collard greens. We like collard greens with kidney beans, of all things. And so I'm going to pan you down and show you how I do this. So these take 65 to 70 days to mature. I'm pretty sure I got these from our local co-op, but I'm just going to sprinkle the seed on top of my soil. I'm really not going to do much with it. I'm actually going to plant a couple of these with that. And then I'm also going to plant some turnip greens and maybe some mustard greens and spinach, of course, and some other things to feed to our chickens and our ducks, and for us as well. And I like collard greens. I've got some old labels in here. I'm going to pick those up later because I might use them in the garden this year. And I'm just going to run my hand over the top of the soil. And then I'm going to bring in some water, and I'm going to really water down these buckets. You want water running through the bottom of your raised beds. But greens is one of the vegetables that they can eat. As a matter of fact, I've got it written down on my cards. Let's see. Yeah. So there's a variety of leafy greens that they can eat. Kale, spinach, of course, turnip greens and things like that. They love the greens, and you can actually throw some in their pools that they play in. It'll float on the top and they'll nibble at them. So that is one of the vegetables that we'll probably be planting in ground as well out here in our Victory Garden this year. So our Victory Garden area will be converted into a working duck garden. It's still my Victory Garden, but all the raised beds will be moved to a new location. Creating a duck garden takes a little planning and knowing what is safe and what is toxic to ducks. Ducks will enjoy cleaning out old weeds and pests. Plus, we can relocate their pools each day to a new area for them to work. We will most likely create a frame over the greens for those ducks to nibble on so that they eat the leaves but not the roots. Greens are excellent for ducks' immune health, as I've said before. Things like kale, spinach, turnip, collard, and mustard greens will give them a nice variety to munch on. Before we release the ducks into the Victory Garden area, all the plants must be established to prevent the ducks' feet from crushing the plants. They are pretty active little birds that aerate the sod by digging their duck bills into the soil for grubs and worms. They also love to eat pests like squash bugs. That should help us with the squash bug problem. We can safely plant these in our duck sanctuary, aka Victory Garden. Leafy greens as their treat, peas and green beans, making sure to trellis the green beans if possible, squash and melons, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, root vegetables like carrots and radish, and using vertical growth for cucumbers and beans. Actual raw beans can be toxic to ducks, so we want to make sure that we trellis those. Herbs like mint, lemon balm, sage, oregano, thyme, parsley, cilantro, lavender, and catnip. Flowers like marigolds and calendula are ducks' favorite treats. Roses, sunflowers, violets, and pansies. Mature woody fruit-bearing plants like grapes, blueberries, and fruit trees. I will use a grazing cage and straw around plants that need extra protection. The following list are toxic to ducks and should be planted in another garden area. Nightshades like potatoes, eggplant, rhubarb, and tomatoes, especially the vines and leaves and the green fruit, are toxic to ducks. Ducks may enjoy a ripe tomato occasionally. Alliums like onions, garlic, and chives should not be in the duck garden area. Fruits like avocados and citrus are also toxic. Flowers that are toxic to ducks are daffodils, tulips, lilies, lily of the valley, iris, foxglove, poppies, and sweet peas. Harmful shrubs, azaleas, boxwood, hydrangeas, honeysuckle, ivy, wisteria, yew, tansy, and nightshade leaves. We actually have tansy in the Victory Garden area that will need to be completely removed or fenced off from the ducks. Managing the mud. Ducks love creating mud and playing in the mud. We will need to add a straw barrier around the garden ground herbs to prevent the ducks from making holes in the soil, and it would create mud pits in the lower garden areas of the garden, so we want to make sure we know which way the drainage flows. Ducks need water to wash their eyes, bills, and swim in, so we will use our kiddie pool and turtle sand boxes that we converted to pools for our ducks. We can choose locations each day considering how saturated the ground is from the duck splashes. We may even leave pools in a non-garden area when necessary. Cold frames in the spring garden in West Tennessee still has a couple more weeks of possible freezes. We use old windows to cover our mineral buckets, raised beds, as a cold frame, like a greenhouse. When 55-degree weather outside with a window on the top could possibly cook your vegetation in raised beds up to 90 degrees. So you want to make sure that you uncover your plants during the daytime and cover them at night to hold the heat into the soil. It's similar to the popular metal frame with fabric-covered greenhouses where you open and close the flaps. Using a cold frame extends our growing season for early planting. Always read the seed labels for the best time to plant, the soil temps, and sunlight, etc. We used house screens and oven grates. They are great for protecting our seed starts from the chickens. We have a couple of hens that are flighty and prefer the Victory Garden area, so they are looking for tasty weeds, bugs, and worms. Fresh soil is a place they love to scratch, so covering them will help our seeds grow without harm. Of course, keeping everything watered is important too. The seeds planted today need daily watering. In mineral buckets, you want good drainage holes in the bottom and lower side, about 2 to 3 inches from the bottom. Once the plant's established, you will need to water each raised bed until the water escapes the bottom. This gives the plants plenty of water for the root system, and moist sod will remain a little damp on those extra hot days. Now, if you plan on ducks in your garden, make sure you do the research first. I may miss some vital, important information on good plants and toxic plants that I've already mentioned earlier in this podcast. It's always better to be safe than sorry. Oh, I haven't talked about the best benefit for your ducks in the garden. They have low nitrogen poop, free fertilizer for your plants, and it won't burn the plants up, and you should have a lush garden. Just make sure to wash your harvest well before consuming. We plan on fencing off a section for the duck house and coop to go in with a gate to allow them into the garden area. Once our garden is established, we are opening up the fenced area where the blind duck lives, and we can let the ducks roam with their other flocks or put them to work in the Victory Garden. We need to discourage those flighty chickens, but I'm excited to have these little weed and pesty critters working some of our garden area. It may take us some time to really get into the area and get it cleaned up and ready for the on-the-job duck corps. But it will certainly be worth the effort, especially since I am in my golden years. Any advances we make now will surely save me some labor, but still enjoy working the garden, whether it is seeding, planting, watering, or harvesting. Our schedule is Monday and Friday full-length videos, Wednesday podcast, and third Monday are live streams, all beginning at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. You'll also find shorts, interactive videos, and I'm active on the community tab as well. We offer 3 levels of channel membership starting at just 99 cents a month. You can choose the lowest or the level that you want to have, and you can cancel at any time, no problems. Please be sure that you're subscribed, liked, hype, share, and comment. All these free ways help my channel to grow. The information shared in this episode is based on my personal experience and practices on our homestead. Every garden and every flock is unique, so please use this as a starting point for your own journey. I am not a veterinarian or professional naturalist. I highly recommend doing your own research and consulting local experts or guides to ensure the safety of your specific animals and plants. Always verify plant toxicity and weather conditions for your specific hardiness zone. Remember, my animals, my garden, my rules. I'm not responsible for any mistake that you make, just as you are not responsible for mine. Before we close, we are moving those mineral buckets to another location. There is a gold mine underneath. It's been protected from the sun, and the soil is primed and ready to start in-ground herbs. The mineral buckets will be relocated to our front yard away from the chickens. It will serve as a kitchen garden, less for me to carry into our house. We are hoping that the mineral bucket garden will find a permanent home. Our plans are to lay a thick layer of cardboard under the area for the mineral bucket garden and a layer of some raw mulch, and maybe to top that with a layer of gravel to keep the weeds at bay. Having the nightshades and other toxic plants away from the ducks, and a place that is easier gardening for myself. Besides the mineral buckets, we use old cast iron bathtubs for asparagus and strawberry beds. We also have dryer drums as raised beds. The dryer drums are great for root vegetables, like potatoes, carrots, and turnips. Having everything in one place will make planting, watering, and harvesting so convenient. Gardening is not a hobby, it's a co-partnership with nature unknown. Smart gardening isn't about working harder, it's about putting the ducks to work so you won't have to. Genesis 8:22, King James Version. While the earth remaineth, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. We go through the cycles of life. The rhythm of the garden is a constant you can rely on when the world around us turns upside down. So today, I've laid out our plans, the reason we are doing ducks in the garden, what we can and can't grow in the new improved Victory Garden, aka Ducks at Work Garden, our raised beds plans, cold frame, and using those old screens and windows. We are goal busting in 2026, and I hope you will come along as we use our resourceful homestead skills, learn new things, and make the most of our 1.5 acre homestead in Zone 7B in West Tennessee. Don't forget, we have a huge surprise coming soon. I can't wait to share that with you. Until then, be blessed and a blessing. Here's some content I think you might like. Thank you for visiting our homestead. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, hype, and share to help our small channel grow. See you next time for more simple living, frugal tips, and farmyard fun.